Mattel Electronics would like to...
Mr. Intellivision, how come all you ever talk about are sports games?
Sorry?
Intellivision now has games like the arcade.
I know.
Rock and Chase.
Absolutely.
Tron Deadly Disc. Excellent.
Right.
Night Stalker. Awesome robot.
Oh, glad you like them.
Sorry, I can't hang around here. I'm going home to play my Intellivision.
Who was that kid?
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Outrun the Neon Sun. This is Dan, and if this is your first time, I do want to welcome you. Thanks for joining us today. I want to do something real quick before we get to the 80s commercials that we all want to see. I want to give this away. It's a Raspberry Pi 3A+. Now, the reason why I'm giving this away, because I'm not going to really give hardly anything away because I don't have any money, but the reason why I'm giving this one away is because someone gave me two of these. It has one USB port, and I'm going to give this away to the person. I'm going to put this right next to the camera. It has a few ports, obviously. I'm going to give this away to the person, their HDMI, little USB, and some other ports, audio, who can come up with the best idea on how to use this with an arcade one-up. Does that make sense? So in the comments below, if you could kind of list some great ideas on how you could use a Raspberry Pi 3A+, I think it's just one plus, I'd love to know, and I'd love to give this to you, and maybe we both can do that to our arcade one-ups. So with that, let's go right into the 80s commercials that we all know and love, and I'm super excited to show you these and add a little bit of commentary at the end. I won't do too much, but it's a little bit of a longer video, but bear with me because I think it'll be good. First one that I want to mention, and I'm not going to spoil it too much, but I want you guys to see this. Milk, it does a body good.
I'd like to meet you, but I'll bet you're hoping for a hunk. And all I've got to offer is sensitivity, intelligence, and charm.
I'm drinking milk, though, and for the next couple seasons, I'll be working out.
Milk's about the best thing I can drink right now to help me build strong arms,
powerful legs, and a broad chest. And when all my work is done, will you love me just for my body?
I can live with that.
Milk, it does a body good.
Alright, so this is pretty glorious. The kid in the commercial is trying to woo the supermodel, and it really appealed to the gangly, kind of awkward kids, i.e. people like me, and they really were clear on their emphasis that milk is what's going to make you stronger, make you better looking, make you more articulate, whatever it might be. And obviously we didn't have all the travesty with the cows and the dairy farms these days, and organic and non-organic. They weren't issues. It was the 80s. I mean, we drank water from a hose. I mean, we had probably MSG's sticks that we would lick. I mean, I don't know what we would do, but the reality is it was great and glorious, and I hope that was a good commercial for you to enjoy. Here's the next one. It's the KoolAid guy, and I want to just kind of say this. Oh yeah, the KoolAid guy.
Kids play harder than anybody else, and there's nothing like a kid's big burst.
Oh yeah, I'm on my way.
You can feel it coming on, and you got to have some.
Here I come to save the day.
Got to have some now. KoolAid to the rescue. The one for a kid's big thirst.
So I see, refreshing and bright, yeah.
You got to have some more. All right. It's KoolAid to the rescue. The one for kids.
KoolAid brand soft drink mix.
For a kid's big thirst.
All right, what's interesting to me about this KoolAid commercial is that there was tons of regulations on commercials that were directed towards kids. Until Ronald Reagan comes in, he's like, you know, I'm going to do away with all these regulations because they wouldn't allow cartoons to be kind of advertising to kids because they would get too confused. Well, what's interesting to me is that Reagan does away with this, and then the KoolAid just explodes. And that was really kind of the watershed moment on child manipulation. No, I'm kidding. I loved all that stuff, but it was the watershed moment on allowing companies to begin to really advertise to kids so that the kids would whine and complain to their parents, and they would make more money. So anyways, the number 8 video that we're going to get to is this one.
A drink's delightful the second time. Hi. Do you remember the first time you tried kissing? Ooh. But now. And when you first tried Coke, I bet you said, not for me. But hey, let's not let first impressions sweat, and let's try Coke again, shall we? Because once you've acquired that new wave taste, you're going to want to try it again, and again. A Coke's delightful the second. Catchy, isn't it? Catch the wave. Coke.
So catch the wave, Coke. This was really a very important commercial because it failed miserably as a organization, as a company. the new Coke idea failed, and within a few months they totally canceled this. But what they wanted to do is they wanted to kind of combine the hip and trendiness of Max Headroom, who was already kind of promoting MTV, which was one of the biggest youth movements of the day. They wanted to take that and they wanted to kind of combine that with Coke, and say, hey, we're hip, we're cool, I'm with it. You know, I was going to do my best Austin Powers impersonation or Dr. Evil, but they failed and they hopefully learned a huge lesson. But this was really the beginning, not the beginning, but one of the main points in the 80s of companies really trying to be cool and try to be hip. Okay, now coming in at number 7 is Folgers. And the moment I mention Folgers, I know every single one of you is going, the best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
Their hero held them tight. I'll start Folgers to brew. Mountain grown aroma coming through.
Folgers aroma roasted coffee made from mountain grown beans, richly roasted and finely ground for great waking up aroma.
Oh, what that aroma can do, brighter day for me and you. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
But I'm going to sing every single time. I always apologize. I'm not going to apologize anymore. But Folgers, that was a glorious thing. Now, this was like 25 years, Folgers, the actual company for coffee, sang this little jingle, right? And this was the most famous jingle of the 80s. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. And I think it was written by this lady named Leslie Pearl. And it was like the #1 charts for jingles, which I didn't even know they had charts for jingles. But it was pretty incredible at the time. And it had this massive staying power. And it made me want, even though I was like 8 years old, it made me want to wake up and have that coffee smell. And I'll always remember my grandparents would always have that coffee smell every single morning. And they would take that little scoop out, and I'd put my ear right next to that scoop to see if it sounded the same as the commercial. Like, I mean, hopefully, anyways, I'll be okay. But Folgers was number 7. Now, number 6 is just as glorious, if not more glorious, for various and sundry reasons. Now watch this.
Mr. Turtle, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
I never made it without biting. Ask Mr. Owl.
Mr. Owl, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
Let's find out. 1, 2, 3, 3.
How many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop? The world may never know.
Right? I mean, the Tootsie Roll commercial. How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? I mean, every kid wanted to go home and go, I know the number. In fact, there's a YouTuber that says over 9,000 licks. I mean, that's ridiculous. Like, that you would count. I mean, I have way too many other things to do to count, but back in the day, I really wanted to. And I just love this. It was so simple. It was not polished. It was just a great commercial. Not too much needs to be said on it, other than that this was originally a 60-second commercial. Then they cut it down to 30 seconds, and then it became 15 seconds. And it was a pretty powerful cartoon directed towards kids that Reagan did away with, and he's like, let's manipulate these kids.
You're a whole new generation. You're dancing through the day.
this is obviously the Pepsi generation. Commercial number 5. It's hard to believe now, but Michael Jackson literally was one of the most famous, coolest guys ever in the history of this. And when he sings their jingle, you know it's going to be significant. So Pepsi was the cool company in the 80s. I don't know if you guys know, we all love Coke, we all love McDonald's, they all supported Coke, but then Taco Bell, they all supported Pepsi because it's the PepsiCo. And you have all these like wars going on, but back in the day, Pepsi was the cool can. It really was. I mean, they gave away flying Harriers. I mean, the jets, the Harriers, they were supposed to. They ended up not giving away. That's a huge controversy, which I think is pretty funny for another time. But this commercial, it's glorious. And you have actually the guy who plays, Carlton Banks on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He's the young kid who's dancing, and I can totally picture, just totally picturing that, you know? Like, it's great. I won't try to do it. I was trying to do it, but anyways, we'll move on. So that's a great commercial, and that was really powerful. It kind of really changed the way kids saw Pepsi, because Michael Jackson was the epitome of cool. Not so much anymore, but back in the day, he really was. All right, so number 4. I gotta say, number 4 is probably one of the funniest random commercials because it was just done so much at sporting events. All right, so number 4, watch this.
15. We got this game won.
Yeah, you guys are buying a light beer from Miller.
Yeah, nice Philly.
One out to go.
Yeah, what can he do to his mouth?
Hey, keep the change. Here's Rodney!
Any pinchers left?
Here I am.
Come on, Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Hey, wait a minute. This game isn't over yet. I caught that ball.
So Miller Lite, great taste, less filling, but this had stars like Bob Eubank, it had stars like John Madden. So yeah, like the premise of this video, which is so amazing, is that it tastes great or it's less filling. And usually there would be a brawl that would ensue because they'd be in an argument. It was a very important slogan for people because you'd go to sporting events and you'd have one side of the stadium yelling, tastes great, the other side saying less filling until the sporting event actually happened. And it's like the wave, right? The wave sometimes is more fun in a baseball game than the actual baseball game at times. I don't agree with that, but a lot of people think that. All right, for number 3, it's Wrigley's Spearmint Gum. Watch this and just enjoy the glossiness of this video. Even though you can't see it, the quality's a little grainy, but just look what Wrigley's trying to do.
A double pleasure's waiting for you. A double pleasure from Double Mint Gum. A double great feeling, making you realize Double is the one for you. Double fresh, double smooth, double delicious to chew. A double pleasure is waiting for you. Double Mint Gum. A double pleasure is waiting for you. Double Mint Gum.
Yeah, so this commercial used lighthearted music. It was just very kind of like neon, not neon, but like just pastel colors. It was flashy, it was good. I mean, they used twins, like Wrigley Spearmint Gum used twins since like the 1919 or 1930s, really, in their advertising, whether it's with pictures or moving cameras or actually film. This really captured the vibe of the age. It's by a pool and there's palm trees and it's like, there's like a neon glittering sun in the back. Not really, but it's pretty glorious. It reminds you of like Three's Company at the time, which is like a 70s show, early 80s. I digress. Let's go to number 2 and then I'll do some honorable mention, one honorable mention, don't worry, and then we'll go to number 10. All right, number 1. All right.
Yes, we know it's a big fluffy bun.
Talk to the manager.
It is the manager.
Where's the beef?
He's putting us under the supervisor.
If you ask me, which you didn't, we should call the owner.
At Wendys, the hamburger we modestly call a single has more beef than the Big Mac or Whopper.
We've got the owner.
Hello? Where's the beef?
Wendys kind of people never ask, where's the beef?
I don't think there's anybody there. I really don't.
All right, do you guys remember this? Where's the beef? Do you remember that? For me, this was a complete opposite of Wrigley's spearmint gum. I mean, this was grainy. This had a bunch of old ladies that were pretty comedy, but what was so powerful is that this really became kind of a part of the lexicon of the 80s. And so people would all around kind of saying, where's the beef? You know, like if what you were saying lacked substance. So during the 1984 kind of like primaries, Robert Mondale, which was a previous vice president for the Democratic Party, so he was talking to another guy named Gary Hart, and he was kind of saying whatever Hart was saying, and he was like, where's the beef? Like that was like, drop the mic. I just said what was classic, where's the beef? And to me, this really has that massive influence. It didn't just influence culture, it didn't just influence marketing, it wasn't just ripping on McDonald's, it was actually moved into the actual lexicon of the 80s, and people, even politicians, were using this term as kind of saying, look, like, I don't believe you, what you're saying is a lie. Okay, so now what we get to is my honorable mention, and I gotta do this. It's a little bit longer, all right? So this is gonna be about 3 to 4 minutes, and I want you to bear with me and just watch it in all of its glory because it is called Bud Bowl 1.
Football fans, get ready for the battle of the century. As unbeaten Budweiser takes on undefeated Bud Light. It's Bud versus Bud Light in Bud Bowl 1.
Pick up your official scorecard wherever you see this display.
Hey, Bud, super idea. You see the neck on that guy?
Use it to follow the action and you could win big. So get ready, get set. On January 22nd, Bud Bowl 1. This time, it's for real.
Live, it's the battle of the unbeatens as Budweiser
We make it work!
meets Bud Light in Bud Bowl 1. How do these teams match up?
Well, Bud, we've got the lightning attack of the Bud Light passing game versus the thunder of Budweiser's Beechwood backs.
Folks, we've got thunder and lightning on the field.
And pandemonium in the stands.
Stay tuned for Bud Bowl 1. We'll be back with the kickoff right after this. We're back for the kickoff of Bud Bowl 1. Bud has won the toss. They'll receive.
Turn out their light!
Let's kick some Bud!
And we're underway. Bud takes it at the 18. Hands off to Bud.
He's at the 25, 30. Tearaway label.
He's looking for daylight.
Make that Bud Light.
Hey, lighten up!
Oh, we've got a real brouhaha.
The cans are going wild.
Time out on the field. Stay tuned. We'll be back. We're back at the Bud Bowl, and here comes the play.
Bud Light really needs a first down here.
Give me a light! Bud Light!
Third and short.
This Bud's for you, pal. 23 on blue!
Quick pitch to Bud. He pitches it back to Bud.
A flea flicker. He's open.
Touchdown! No complaints from that man.
There's the patented high 6.
And the end of the first quarter with the score. Bud Light 7, Budweiser 3. We'll be back.
This Bud's for you!
We're back. Seconds left in the half. Budweiser ball on the Bud Light 6.
Looks like 4th and inches.
And they'll bring on the field goal unit.
Hold on.
They're bringing in.
Look out.
Oh, no! It's the freezer!
Big gamble on 4th down by Bud.
93!
They give it to the freezer.
Touchdown!
And that's the end of the half. The score, Budweiser 10, Bud Light 7.
We'll be back.
We're back, and we've got a wild one brewing here at Bud Bowl. 3rd and long for Budweiser.
Shotgun formation, Beechwood back, split wide.
Yeah, 19! Hut, hut.
Play action.
He's going deep for Bud. Tipped again, intercepted.
What a grab by the rookie.
Let's see that again.
Watch how the free safety fakes a blitz. Says, oh no, turns around, goes back, they screen out the linebacker.
A perfect read. And that's the end of a seesaw third quarter with the score Bud Light 21, Budweiser 17.
We'll be back.
Seconds left in the Bud Bowl. This is what it's all about. Tied at 24.
But it all rests on this bear's shoulders.
Budsky, it's all yours. Come on, Budsky.
Who says kickers don't earn their money?
42 yards out.
He holds down. The kick is up. It's long enough. It's good!
The cans are spilling onto the field.
In a storybook finish, Budweiser 27, Bud Light 24.
Wait till next year.
Seconds left in the Bud Bowl, tied at 24.
But it all rests on this bear's shoulders.
Budsky, it's all yours. Come on, Budsky.
Who says kickers don't earn their money?
Well, what the? Oh, I've never seen.
It's taking.
So what are the greatest football dynasties of all time? Would you say like the 1970s in the Pittsburgh Steelers? Maybe in the 1980s in the San Francisco 49ers, or in the 1990s you had the Dallas Cowboys. Like, what are these great football dynasties? Right? I would say that probably one of the best football dynasties that you'll see, because they had like so many, they were always in the Super Bowl, was this Budweiser Bud Bowl. Now, it was so influential. It took like marketing by storm. People were more excited to know like how they could get free beer from marking the scores after each quarter, right? So each commercial kind of represented a quarter or something that was going on, a fumble, and they were great. I don't know if you saw that. And people had to remember, and they had to mark it down on their sheets, and they could hand it in and they would get a free hat, a free something. And this really took over everything. And people were actually looking forward to Bud Bowl 2 in 1991, because this was in 1989. In 1991, they were looking forward to that, and watching the commercials, those were paid attention to more than the actual Super Bowl, which is pretty significant. So anyways, I love Bud Bowl. I know you guys do too if you're watching this. So with that, let's get to the #1 commercial of the 80s, the most influential commercial. These aren't my favorite. These are just the most influential.
Today we celebrate the first glorious anniversary of the Information Purification Directives. We have created, for the first time in all history, a garden of pure ideology, where each worker may bloom, secure from the pests, obeying contradictory thoughts. Our unification of thoughts is more powerful a weapon than any fleet or army on earth. We are one people. With one will, one resolve, one cause. Our enemies shall talk themselves to death, and we will bury them with their own confusion. We shall prevail.
On January 24th, Apple Computer will introduce Macintosh. And you'll see why 1984 won't be like 1984.
The way they did it, if you remember, after the Raiders had just scored a touchdown, the whole screen goes black. When everybody sees the Raiders score a touchdown, at that point, they're expecting it to be a replay. But instead, it's black, and then some ominous music comes on, and then you got all these guys like drones walking towards a destination that they're not challenging anything, and it's just kind of like, you know, like zombies moving forward. And then you got this lady with, again, you know, larger tracts of land, and she is running forward with a sledgehammer, and she throws it at the TV, and it's kind of breaking the mold. And Steve Jobs himself in his book was stating that this commercial, really, he wanted to be like a pirate against these computers. He really wanted to take this world by storm. And what changed everything in this landscape of marketing, and it was so powerful that the TV stations afterwards weren't talking necessarily about the game, they're talking about this advertisement. It was viral before it went viral. Everybody was talking about this. Before this commercial, all Super Bowl commercials were normal and mundane and boring. It really changed the landscape of all of our commercials. On all of our major events now, we have more important commercials coming out. We have more fun commercials, more clever commercials. I mean, look at Doritos. They did that so much. There was such a push for Doritos for the longest time. At the end of the day, this really catapulted the Apple company into the stratosphere. And it really changed the way everybody did marketing after that moment. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed going down memory lane. You know, a lot of people just post the videos. That's fine. I talk a lot. Maybe I talk too much. I'm a counselor. What can I say? But I want to encourage you guys, if there is something that you liked about this video, please like and subscribe. Liking the channel or liking the video is really huge. It basically creates more advertising that YouTube's like, hey, I trust this video. It's already done. So if you could like the videos anytime, like any of my videos, that'd be great. I know we're building a community. I want to go live soon. There's a few things, a few glitches I'm trying to work out. But in the meantime, I hope you keep outrunning that neon sun, and I'll see you guys soon.